Hi everybody, it's 11 o'clock on a Friday. I hope you're watching this. If not, check it out on our Foodie. You'll be what do I mean check it out? You'll all be watching it, won't you, if you're watching it not live? Oh my God. So it's Lee from Sweet Life and Foodie Book Club, and there we have the lovely Lizzie from Peachy Digital, who's doing all things digital. She's a PR fabulous expert, especially specializes in foods and marketing to the nth degree. Speak to her if you need anything, because she's awesome. And this, oh my God, please introduce yourself, young sir.
I'm Sean Noonan, the executive chef at the Griffin Inn in Eccleston in St Helens.
And do you know what? Fabulous. Just that makes me in awe. God. So tell me about the Griffin Inn. How long have you been in the Griffin Inn?
So I was at the Griffin Inn for 4.5 years, coming up to 5, and then I left for 12 months to go work at a wedding venue. But due to the pandemic, bit of a change in my roles. I've come back to the Griffin. They wanted me to come back as the executive chef. I've been the head chef. So I've come back on the basis we're looking to push the food standards up again. So we're going a bit more gastro style of the venue itself. The pub had a refurb in January last year on the internal. I had a brand new kitchen fitted. So it's all nice and shiny in here.
No.
And then currently outside I've got a load of diggers digging up the beer garden, changing it from a 200-seater beer garden into a 450-seater beer garden. So it's going to be massive in volume really out there.
What have you so I was just kind of blown by the idea of having a 400-seater beer garden. That's just blown my mind. So when you were refurbing the kitchen, did you know that was happening? So I guess you made it, more
I knew it was happening before I left, and when I left originally, I said it's the wrong time for me to leave, but the right time as well, because I'd been here so long. I just wanted to learn something different within the industry.
Yeah.
Put my hand to something else, because sometimes you end up getting a bit, should we say, stale and stuck in your rut of doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go and experience something completely different in the industry that I'd not done much of. So I went into events and weddings and corporate and stuff like that. But I've come back. I missed the place, being honest, when I was not here. But I don't think the next move is not going to be for a long time. And in my head, it's my own place. I've told the owner that. I said, the more you look after me, the longer I'm staying here, because I know my next move and it's where I want to be and it's my own.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll probably tell you probably 2 years before I even want to do it.
Yeah.
So
awesome. And that feeling of being home when you're in a job, so not only having a job that you love, but also being in a place that you love, that's got to make you feel more creative. Surely it's just, because you can relax, can't you, into the food?
Yeah, the main thing is to enjoy the job. I spend more time here than I do at home.
Yeah.
So it's one of them. I've got to fully enjoy what I'm doing. The team around me as well. That's a big part. So as much as it's probably a bad thing, they're all very close mates now.
Yeah. Why a bad thing though? Why a bad thing?
More because it's harder to manage friends.
Yeah, it's harder to sack a friend, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's when you get on with people very, very well, and you want to tell them one way and they say it another way. It's hard to say no to it.
Yeah.
But it works well because luckily because they've worked with me for a long time. The kitchen team I left, a lot of them were still here when I come back, and some have rejoined since I've come back. Because I was going back, some of them rejoined us. But it's got a big family atmosphere in here, so everyone understands what each other's doing without having to say. Yeah. So normally when I'm standing on the pass serving, not cooking as much, I know what's going on behind without even having to say. Yeah. So that's quite a nice way. Yeah. But there's not a lot of shouting. I don't like shouting.
Well, do you know what you're describing from what I see is that's actually been a really good boss, because you're letting them do what they do and flourish and get the recognition, but you're just there to say, okay, let's just move along a bit. So that's really good. Can I just, Mr. Sean, let's see what you're cooking. Come on, because I could just talk for today, you know.
So we're doing a pan-fried salmon. So this has come yesterday morning from the fish company, which I use, which are based in Rainford. So literally about a mile away from the
Is that the name of the business, the fish company?
Yeah, the fish company.
That's awesome.
That's what it says in the tip, really, doesn't it?
That's
nice
great.
and easy.
I know,
So then yesterday afternoon, I went out with my veg supplier. We went on the big Arctic lorries, having a little drive around. So I've gone and got some veg with him. So we've got some new potatoes grown locally in Taunton. And so we've got a couple of different cherry tomatoes. So we've got some red cherry tomatoes, we've got yellow, and we've got some orange.
Yeah, awesome. Look at those. Oh, God.
And we got some basic frozen garden peas.
Yeah.
Any will do.
Yeah.
And then we got some fresh watercress.
Uh-huh.
Then I've got a local rapeseed oil.
Okay.
So it's literally grown in Standish, the rapeseed, processed another half a mile down the road from where they grow it. And then I'm probably about 10, 15 miles away from it.
Wow. Couldn't get any more local.
Yeah. We use Malden sea salt. We've got a bit of cracked black pepper and something in the I've put in the recipe. It's not essential, but it just helps things bind and stop it from splitting. So it's xanthan gum.
Yeah, we love it. Love xanthan gum.
Most supermarkets now sell it in free from areas of the shops and stuff like
that. Lizzie's gluten-free, and she's just, in the last few months, just been introduced to that, and I think it's revolutionised her baking.
Yeah, it's a great product, especially in gluten-free baking.
Yeah.
It basically substitutes the gluten in the gluten-free produce. It brings that elasticity to gluten you feel in the breads and the cakes and things like that. So when you're making a dough and trying to stretch it with gluten-free, you won't get that stretch into it. But with a bit of xanthan gum, about a teaspoon in a dough, you'll get that stretch. So what it does I think I'll use it for is binds molecules together.
Yeah.
So say if I've got my pea puree that I'm going to make, the pea will sometimes separate from the water content, and it just stops that from happening. So you end up with a smooth, silky puree throughout.
Good tip. Something else I just want to mention is Lizzie doesn't like fish.
Oh.
I know.
Not a fish lover. To be fair, I'm not a big fish lover myself. I prefer a white fish.
Yeah.
I don't eat shellfish, but yeah, it's nice. It's light. It's summery. So it's actually one of the dishes that's going to be quite possibly on the new Griffin menu.
Excellent.
That we're doing today. So yeah.
Right. Well, let's get it going. I'm going to ask you some obviously really random questions that we haven't practiced beforehand, and you don't know anything about, and every chef doesn't get asked them, but just I might just throw them in.
Yeah, go for it. So I'm going to be using a bit of a kit I don't use very often, which is an induction oven, so you can see what I'm doing mainly. So it heats up a bit fast. It's sometimes a little noisy.
That's okay. It's on your dog's
box. We should be fine. So in here I've just got about a litre of water. So instead of me using a cauldron draining things, I've got one of these baskets.
Like that.
Spaghetti basket. Yeah. That just fits into that pan. So I'm just going to heat that water up. When I'm seasoning the water, season like it tastes like the sea.
Someone else said that, didn't they?
It's the easiest way to explain how to season something, because you think, oh God, that's a load of salt. Well, that salt is all going in that veg.
Yeah.
You season the vegetable with the salty water.
Yeah. And also, I'm a big fan of Malden salt. When you go that, I go, yeah, Malden salt, because let's have it for flavouring rather than for bitterness. That's what I say with salt. But
yeah, it's got a bit more flavour than just the general table salt as well. Yeah. So in this one, I've got some cold water. I'm going to bring up some new potatoes to the boil. Again, I'm just going to season them up. I'm going to put them on the burner behind.
Okay.
let that come up.
So how many years have you been cooking? What's your first
What's
memory?
that?
What's your first memory of cooking?
First memory of cooking. Ooh. Can I have one, that?
Oh,
I'd probably say cooking at home, making an absolute mess, because I was one of them to use everything in the cupboard. So all the spices would be out.
nice.
Me and mum used to absolutely kick off and fume about it. I'd be making curries and all sorts. But other than that, it'd probably be scouts, backwards cooking. So I'd be cooking on open fires and things in tin foil and all sorts.
Yeah.
Different little bits like that. We used to cook potatoes and salmon in tin foil and just literally put it in the middle of the fire. Make a tagine, and you'd be putting it in a pan and digging it into the dig a hole, put it in, and cover it up. Different little bits like that.
So how many badges did you get at Scouts?
What was that?
How many badges did you get at Scouts?
Too many. I was a scout since Yavik down there. I was in Beavers Cubs and Scouts. I actually got my Chief Scout Gold award.
Wow.
Different things like that.
So shout out
I think
to the
it
Scout
was
community.
12 or 13 years I was in it in total.
Wow. I mean, it's a great institution, isn't it? Scouts, Guides, whatever's below them and above them. It's keeps kids focused, I think, on community.
Teaches good skills as well.
Yeah.
Like important skills.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. It picks up a lot of skill sets. I don't think it's been picked up as much as it has been recently.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Maybe you could be an advocate for the Scout community. Maybe you could sort of like, go around and teach them how to cook and stuff. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Teaching kids.
Yeah, and basic first aid and all sorts. It's how to be just a nice person and life skills as well.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Let's, practice some empathy.
Well,
So
Lucy, who's
our
watching.
water should come up to the boil here now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add in the 200 grams of frozen peas.
Okay. We've got a question, I think. Lizzie's got a question.
It's not a question. I think Lucy, who's watching along, said, wow, when we're talking about the Scouts, and said that she got her Queen's Guide.
Really? What, Lucy?
I don't know what that is, but it sounds very impressive.
Is that like Duke of Edinburgh Award, Lucy? Because that's the only thing I know about. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Sounds like you should be getting a medal. Just, oh my gosh. Have you ever heard of that, Sean?
Which one was it?
Queen's Award.
Queen's Guide.
Queen's Guide.
Yeah, so it's very similar to what I got with the Chief Scout Gold.
Right.
So it's like the top award in girl guiding.
Blimey. Okay, I'm just impressed with anything now.
Kudos, Lucy.
Absolutely. God. Okay, so we cut it. These, I mean, there's nothing nicer to look at than tiny tomatoes that are different colours, but also the smell of fresh tomatoes is incredible, isn't it? It's just.
Yeah, so I've got a bit of variety of colour with them as well. So I've literally just put them in half nicely. So I'm going to season them up with a touch of salt to draw the moisture out of them now.
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely stunning, that.
I'm so hungry.
I'm on the
Just a
diet.
light touch of black pepper on them as well.
Yeah. Beautiful. So that'll draw some of the liquid out.
Yeah, just to draw a bit of the liquid out and just to season them all the way through. Bring the sweetness out of them as well.
Uh-huh.
So now our peas are cooked.
Yeah.
So we're going to want some of the water of this.
Okay. Which is been seasoned with salt, so it's really good. Got some nice flavour there. Okay.
We're going to put that into the Thermomix now.
If people haven't got a Thermomix, they can do this in a blender.
Yeah, a general jug blender or a stick blender, either or.
Okay.
And just adjust the consistency until you need it.
Okay. It's really quiet. Is that on? Sean?
I don't think he can hear you. It's probably louder there.
Sean, was that on?
Yeah, sorry, a lot of noise.
So it isn't, because I'm just saying I can't hear it.
Yeah.
Could you hear it, Lizzie?
No.
We couldn't hear it, honestly. If people, I mean, it's a silly question, but if people didn't open their freezer and they didn't have peas, what else could they make a puree out of that would go with this?
What could you make a puree to go with this other than peas? Beetroot would work nice.
Sorry?
A nice beetroot puree would work nice with it.
Yeah.
Squash.
Oh, lovely. That's nice.
Squash is a nice simple puree to make. Again, you just make it a similar way to this. Just heat it up in the water until it cooks through, and then just blend it with a touch of your liquor.
Okay.
You cook with.
Okay. Because it's all about seeing what we've got in our pantries, and I mean, I think most people have peas at the back of the freezer, don't they? In the packet or out of the packet, they're always rolling around. I was
trying to think of some things you might have knocking about at the bottom of the fridge.
Yeah.
Which is normally what I end up with. I end up with a bag of peas at the bottom.
Yeah.
Some new potatoes dotted about from other meals.
Yeah.
Quite often cherry tomatoes that aren't in the best quality, should we say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like my fridge.
Yeah, but don't want to throw them away because they are edible. You have to find a different way of cooking them, and this is a great recipe. So these are your potatoes.
Yes.
Okay. So organised, Lizzie, isn't he? So organised in that kitchen there.
I know. Can you give my other half some lessons, please, on how to cook without destroying the entire kitchen? Because he's excellent at cooking. We say this every time, but the mess.
I'm going to sneeze.
So into here, I'm going to add the salmon gum. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon.
Okay.
You add too much, it goes a bit loopy. It's hard to describe the feeling of it when something is wet. It goes quite slimy in your hands.
I can't hear that machine. It's really weird. It's obviously just there. I mean, obviously, we could say anything now because it looks like Sean can't hear us. So. I love these little plastic things like that, Chef, because we've all got those for takeaways, aren't there? Do you collect them as well, Lizzie? Those little plastic things you get Chinese takeaways in. Those containers.
Oh no, ours come in foil.
The plastic tubs are my lifesaver in this kitchen.
Yours come in foil.
Little prep tubs. I know how many portions is in each one for each different prep item.
Brilliant.
So I can just literally walk into the fridge and go, yeah, that's how many portions we've got.
Oh, that's really good. I like that level of organisation.
Yeah. Oh.
Right, this is our beef puree.
Okay. Oh, that's a beautiful colour, isn't it?
Oh, green. I mean, it wasn't going to be any other colour, was it? But it's such a lovely green.
Are you pouring that into a container because we can't see the container? So I'm guessing that's just going straight into a container there.
Yeah, just straight into the container, so you can sort of see the colour of it now.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful and so smooth.
Mm.
Wow.
I'm going to just set that side there.
Yeah. Someone's going to tell me off for touching my nose, but I'm not cooking. Okay, what's next?
Salmon next.
Okay.
Meat potatoes shouldn't be too far off.
Right. If anybody's wondering what that beeping noise is, it's an induction thing. So when you take it off, you have to have a special.
Yeah, it's because of the induction pans. So if I was to grab one of the pans, if I was to put that frying pan on, it'll be because of the connectivity of the metal. Yeah. Actually, a particular pan to go on.
Just heavy bottom one. So.
Quite cost effective also, but it's instant heat, so that pan's red hot already.
And you can get these. I mean, I had one for the cafe. You can get them from lots of reasonably priced shops.
Well, yeah, I picked this one up actually in Aldi.
See, that's what I was going to say, and then I thought I won't say Aldi because I'm always saying Aldi, but Aldi is it's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah, there's plenty of them that do them. IKEA and places like that all have them as well.
And really useful.
But you can have them fitted into your hob instead of gas as well. Some people like them, others don't. A lot of people still like to cook on an actual flame, like I've got going on behind me.
Yeah.
More because I think you've got more control with a flame than you do with induction.
Yeah.
But is that because people don't understand induction properly yet?
But also I think these are really good if you've got a limited space. You can literally put that in the cupboard and take it out, and it's instant cooking. So So
I've seasoned the salmon up on the skin.
Yeah.
But I've not put any black pepper on it. The reason for not putting any black pepper on the skin is because the skin side, if you put it on there, because we're going to cook it nice and slow, the black pepper will end up burning to take a burnt taste to the salmon.
Okay, yeah.
So we just seasoned it nicely, quite a bit, because we want to take the moisture out of that skin and get it nice and crisp.
Salt's pretty crazy how it works, but it works really well. That's a nicely cut piece from the fish company. That's a nice. What sort of size is that?
About a 6 ounce in size.
Yeah. And is that what you would say was one portion? 6 ounces?
Yeah, that's normal. That's what I've given the pub for one portion.
Yeah. Except
about 6 to 8 ounces roughly on size of the fish, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, can't have it to Lizzie because she hates fish, so we're not.
Sorry.
Okay, while you're cooking that, have I got time to ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so food fad. Is there a food fad that you're glad has just gone out the window?
Food fad that I'm glad that's gone out the window.
Lizzie and I both have one. Mine are slates and boards. Please give me plates. I hate those flipping slates and boards things. I just
slates don't work. Environmental health don't like them for a start. I don't mind a board, but used right. So I'm quite happy to put a burger on a board or something like that.
Right, yeah, I'll take that back.
Because it suits it.
Yeah.
Maybe a touch of grease proof under it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But actual food itself on it, maybe just for buffets and stuff like that, just as a nice platter.
Do you have any fads like foams and stuff that you really hate?
But fads that I wish that had gone are fake allergens, being honest.
Oh, what? Sorry?
Fake allergens.
Oh.
it's my bugbear in the industry, being honest. So I obviously I get a lot of allergens and requests, which I like dealing with that. So if there's any allergen request, I'll go out to the customer myself if I've got time.
Yeah.
And literally ask them what do they want to eat. It's easier than ordering off the menu. They tell me what they want, and I'll just try and cook it, see what I've got.
Yeah.
Come up with a new dish that might not be on there for them sometimes. But the issue you find sometimes is on gluten-free. Okay, you're gluten-free, or you're vegan. So they can't eat X, Y, and Z, but yet they'll come to the end and they'll order a dessert, they'll order sticky toffee pudding. Oh, it's all right with the dessert. I'm like, well, it's not if you're that.
Yeah.
But they don't mind treating themselves to something like that. So it's just like, why have we had to go through all that effort of cleaning down the sections, complete new board, so I have to get an allergy board out, which is a purple shopping board for any allergies, just because they've said the celiac or something like that, when they're not.
And there's this whole thing, isn't
instead of an allergy, it's a dietary. They prefer not to eat it.
That's right, yeah.
Which is a bit different, because if they say, I'm not allergic, I just don't want it in my diet, the chefs don't have to go through a big regime of cleaning everything.
Yeah. I don't think people realise it in the kitchen. It's like, I mean, it's a couple of years since I did that, but it's it used to be 0. something 5 or something in the atmosphere. So you'd have to have you couldn't say it was gluten free. You had to say, we don't use gluten products in this thing and clean it all up. because people don't realize that the amount of stuff you have to do behind the scenes to make that dish gluten free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't realise that what goes into it behind the scenes sometimes. Obviously, there's a lot of prep behind it for a start, so then we've got to check everything we prep has got in. Sometimes we'll have to do brand new prep.
Yeah, it takes a while. Well, we've got that one out of the way then. So nobody pretend you've got an allergy, because you're not going to stand for it. No,
See, I'm not allergic. I make a point of saying that as well. I have an intolerance.
No,
It's one of them. I'm all for allergies and everything. In my eyes, they're my VIPs. But it's the ones that just don't think that don't have an allergy, but say they do.
And just be honest. Just say, look, I'm not eating gluten. Is there anything that you have that isn't? You know, I mean, you're dead on it.
Just be honest about what it is. If it's a dietary or an allergen, because they're two very big different things.
I mean, Lizzie's really honest with her gluten thing. It does nasty things to her. No.
Thanks for sharing.
Welcome. Beyond. Open her eyes. So how's that fish coming along?
It's coming on nicely, I'll show you now.
Yeah.
Ignore the beeping.
Yeah. Ooh.
So I'm going to cook it.
Yeah.
3/4 of the way on that skin side. So the skin's nice and crispy now. We're going to work it up through the flesh. Mainly just doing nice low heat, so that skin's really crisp.
Right.
It's why a lot of people don't eat the skin on fish. It's because it's soggy. But if you cook it nice and slow on a nice high heat, bring it up through the fish, and then turn it over at last minute, just to finish it off. It just helps the nice crisp skin, and it'll literally just crack like a crisp.
Ooh, lovely.
Should be it. If I rub this on it now, I just hear that rubbing.
Yeah.
Crispness on it.
Yeah. While that's cooking, have I got time to? I mean, keep cooking, doing stuff. Have I got time to ask you another question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, favourite ingredients, Sean. Favourite ingredients to use and favourite ingredients to eat. Because I think sometimes when you're cooking for a living, there can be two different things.
Favourite ingredients to use. I'd probably say celeriac. It's one of my favourite ingredients to use because it's versatile.
Yeah.
It goes with a lot and it's different. So luckily, actually, a lot of supermarkets have actually started selling it, to be fair. So it's becoming a lot more accessible to people, where it wasn't previously. There was only one or two that used to sell it. I think most now do. But even from making purees with it, to making renelades with it, to substituting potato with it. So instead of doing a potato fondant, do a celeriac fondant or a celeriac dauphinoise.
Slicing it really thin and using it instead of pasta sheets and lasagna. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's a great. It's a versatile product, but also cuts out the carbs.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little ingredient to use. It goes well with a lot of other ingredients too.
So what's
more flavourings, not just proteins and stuff like that.
So what's
It'll
your
go with most proteins.
What's your favourite to eat?
Favourite to eat. My favourite food to eat is probably burgers, unfortunately. as bad as it is, I do love a good burger.
You know.
But other than that, probably like a fillet steak or
yes.
I do like nice tartare actually as well. If I was going out for a nice meal.
Yeah.
So one of my favourites is when I went to Moore Hall. I had their tartare or beef. It tastes like beef. They call it.
Lizzie's husband, fiance, is a butcher, so she gets these fabulous pieces.
So good.
Yeah.
We had a Côte de Boeuf the other night. It was still mooing. It was amazing.
Lovely. So, you're going to cook the fish, and you've got the thing. You've got puree. So I'm just trying to time the question. So you tell me when you want to plate up, okay? So here we go.
Yeah.
If it was my birthday, okay, what one home purchase would you tell me as a home cook to buy, to put on my birthday list?
What was be on your birthday list to buy?
For the kitchen.
If you stuck between two, a
Okay.
good quality frying pan.
Yeah.
So not a cheap one from Asda or Tesco or something like that. You want to be spending over 20 quid.
Okay.
Because you want quite a thick bottom on it. Because you want the heat to retain in the pan.
Yeah.
And a sharp knife.
Sharp knife. Well, yes, we're going to come back to knives in a second.
Something evenly weighted.
Yeah.
And nice and sharp, really.
Yeah. Okay, so frying pan. So would you recommend more than one frying pan? Would you recommend a non-stick frying pan and a steel one or a copper one, or would you just go for a non-stick, or what would you do?
I'd stick with non-stick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a T-foul lover, because T-foul's more of a coating, so it definitely doesn't work in professional kitchens. You get away with it in your house, but you'll be buying new ones probably every 12 months. Yeah. I'd look at a Teflon.
Yeah.
But be careful when you buy them. So Teflon pans come with a sticker with a diamond on it. The diamond's the Teflon diamond. Teflon's rated from 1 star to about 7 stars, I think it is in total. Okay. Professional grade's normally about 7.
Right.
In the non-stick. So it's the type of coatings and different things they use. Wow. So anything above a 3 with Teflon is great to use. This is actually a Teflon pan that I won off them many, many years ago. To be fair, I've got quite a good relationship with Teflon. When I did National Young Chef of the Year, yeah. They were the main sponsor of that. So I see them at the catering shows when I go down to them in London and things like that. Leslie Waters from Ready Steady Cooks, normally doing the demos there for them.
Hi, Leslie.
Leslie's really, really nice.
Leslie, come and do live cook for us, Leslie. Come and do live cook. Okay, I didn't know that about the numbers. I didn't know about the numbers at all. That's really interesting. That's something new. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a few in the books, to be fair, Leslie.
She's good, isn't she? Okay. Another question. Oh,
yeah.
Let me see.
Shall I show you this bit?
Yeah.
Well?
Oh, look at that.
I've just sent over, so that skin's nice and crisp now.
Yeah. Wow. And it's interesting because it's sort of plumped up, hasn't it? And sort of firmed up really nicely.
I'm going to turn the other spaceship on behind me. I'm just going to finish it in the oven, just to cook it free foil.
Uh-huh.
So some people are fussy with fish as well on how they like it cooked. I like it quite opaque still in the middle. Some people like it cooked all the way through. It's really personal preference, but it can go quite dry, cooked all the way through. Want to leave quite a bit of moisture going through it.
Yeah. Would you reference cooking or eating / cooking a steak to cooking a piece of meat, that sort of the softness in the middle? That.
Yeah. Obviously, you can have fish raw completely if you're getting the right grade of fish. Mm-hmm. So if you go into the supermarket and buying it, don't buy it in the packet if you're going to have it raw. Buy it from the actual fishmonger counter in the supermarket, because it's more likely to be fresh.
Good tip.
The stuff on the shelf will be probably been backpacked for 1 or 2 days first, whereas the stuff's probably been fresh straight in from market. Yeah. It's out on the fishmongery shelf. They often vac the stuff that's been there for 1 day and put out.
Right. Okay. Good tip. No,
so I'm just going to switch the rational oven on. Nice hot fancy oven.
So posh in that kitchen, ready for his 400 people in the outside. So when do you see the Griffin Inn opening again with all the new restrictions moving along?
What was that?
When do you see Griffin Inn reopening again with all the new restrictions moving along?
We're aiming to be open by the 12th. Obviously, we can open the beer garden from the 12th of April. Yeah. So that's the big aim, really, to get open and ready by the 12th. It's the plan, hopefully. It's looking promising.
Good.
Yeah. Some stuff changes. I've got the menu ready for them. It's in the process of getting costed and going through the development stages, so I've had the chefs in every now and then. They
Uh-huh.
come through, we cook about 4 or 5 dishes when we come in.
Yeah.
See what we like about the dishes, see what we want to change about them.
Mm-hmm.
And just get everyone's input on the dish, really.
Yeah.
Not just myself writing them and doing everything with them.
Yeah. And that, I think that sort of thing to detail is going to get you a Michelin star, Sean.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It gives them a bit of love behind the dish. So it's not just my dish at the end of the day. They've had the chance to come in and have a look at it. I'll have a quick look at these reviews.
That's a good gadget.
Sadly, because I've pretty much got everything I need around me as well.
Yeah, that's a well.
This bench is normally here in the middle of the kitchen as well.
The things you do for Foodie Book Club.
Ready for tomorrow as well, actually.
Of course.
All ready to go for tomorrow with the
Tell us all
British
about
Pie
it.
Week cook-along.
Tell us all about it, Sean. Tell us people can get involved in it. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us everything about it.
So anyone who's really local to St Helens and who can travel to the Griffin, we've been doing different cook-alongs. So tomorrow we're doing chicken, mushroom and leek pie. So we're doing them in some nice little dishes. Using a French or butter puff pastry.
Wow.
And then with that as well, we're doing some creamy mashed potato and peas. Similar to what we serve in the pub, really. Obviously, people can't come and join us. And it's also something a bit different for them to do. Obviously, Saturday night's a bit different to what it would be normal. So maybe couples coming and doing it. We can have a bit of fun in the kitchen. Have a couple of glasses of wine while doing it.
Tell us how it works. They come to your kitchen and what do they do? They pick up ingredients?
So they come along from 12 o'clock, pick up the ingredients. So I've got everything needed here, all weighed out, portioned up, ready for them.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow they'll join at 6 o'clock. And I'll go onto a Facebook Live. People are coming in on the live ready to cook along with us.
Uh-huh.
Probably be about an hour to an hour and a half, depending. Last time we had a couple of people who ended up waiting till after the live had finished to do theirs.
Uh-huh.
Mainly because it was just easier for them to go back and watch it because they could pause it where they were up to.
And easier to drink while you're not cooking, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. So we're all ready there.
And so, do they have to go to your website to book the ingredients, or is it fully booked, or what can they do?
Apologies about the oven making that noise then.
No worries.
That's just timing for the salmon. Makes all sorts of funny little noises.
Sean?
Yeah.
Sean, can they go to your website to book it? This event?
It's through our Facebook and Instagram. So they just message our Facebook and Instagram, either myself or Catherine a message, and then I'll just get back to you. We're also doing a Mother's Day afternoon tea, very similar.
Okay.
Very similar process, except there's no cooking involved for you guys. It's just £25 for 2 people. Me and the chefs have got a lot of work done on that. You get 3 cakes, sausage rolls, 4 sandwiches, scones.
Perfect.
Coming in a nice craft box, all little decorations and garnished up on that for Mother's Day. Because obviously normally the pub would be full. Normally it's normally busier than Christmas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's a longer day.
Yeah, Mother's Day, yeah. So they can book that.
Right, I'm going to start building this up together a bit now.
Okay.
So the salmon's just resting nicely.
Yeah.
New potatoes are done. Cherry tomatoes are all halved.
Yep.
Got my peas here. So to build this, I'm not going to cook all of this together because I've done quite a bit, to be fair.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to cook enough for one portion and then show you the one dish.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do this. Is this a sort of meal that if I was going to go out walking the dog in the afternoon, and I could do lots of prep in the morning and then just get it together in the evening?
Yeah, there's not. So it's nice and quick, but it's also quite light and refreshing.
Yeah.
So I'd see it as maybe go walk the dog, open a bottle of white wine.
Yeah.
Sit in the garden and eat it, to be fair. It's quite simple. You could literally prep all these little bits, just leave your salmon till the last minute.
Yeah.
And then you just want to warm more back through, really.
Excellent. Okay, let's see.
So you can put a couple of new potatoes, which I found with a touch of the rapeseed oil.
Okay.
A mixture of the tomatoes.
Oh, we're freezing here. Lizzie's freezing and
It's fine. I think it must be your connection, Lee.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's mine. Okay, as long as everybody else is fine.
Okay. Are you all right?
Yeah, it's me. I thought it was everybody else, but it's me. No change there.
Right, so I've got tea's going into the power water we had for the peas previous behind.
Okay.
We just sort of just trying to soften the tomatoes ever so slightly. You want to still leave them with a nice bit of bite to them.
That's a beautiful bowl.
I know. I get bowl envy. Warming them up a little bit. While you're doing this, can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so don't stop doing that because I know we're sort of getting to the end of our time, but give me one top tip for a home cook.
One top tip for a home cook.
Yeah.
Probably be organised.
Oh, okay.
That's a different one.
Yeah, it is.
Mainly because you can end up with everything everywhere. Clean as you go and be organised. Because it can create a lot of mess, obviously. When you're cooking, you'll end up with 5,000 pans everywhere, chopping boards everywhere, especially if you've done, say, raw fish, raw meats, and then you've gone to veg. Yeah. Just make sure it's all clear and all out the way. I end up with no mess, no stress, as a saying in here.
I like it.
Just helps keeps everyone's mind clear when they're in service as well. If they're clean and organised as they go.
Great tip, actually.
Show you that.
Great.
So just going to bring them together nicely.
Oh yes.
So they just started to get a little bit of a shine onto them new potatoes for a little coating of the oil.
Peas going in. You can go peas. Then what? What's next? This puree.
I'm just going to let them tick over now.
Yeah.
That's just nicely softened there.
I'm
going to go in with the pea puree into the bowl.
Okay.
So the reason I've left it quite loose is it's almost like a bit of a bit over pea soup consistency, or a bit looser than a puree.
Right. Pretty. So pretty already, and I can't even see the top of the bowl. This is where it gets all chef busy, isn't it?
Just want to give them a nice stir to make sure it's nice and evenly seasoned, all coated in the juices and everything nicely.
Yeah.
So the juices and tomatoes will come out.
The flavour in that salt, that little juice with that pea puree is good. See, again, I'm just mouth-watering now. It's ridiculous. The lovely Mr. G is going to love this, you know, Lizzie, because it's fish.
He does like fish, doesn't he?
Adores it. Adores it. It's like precision. Precision. You do know that when we get a top shot of this thing, it's going to be like art.
So then I'm just going to garnish with a touch of watercress.
Yeah. Watercress, I think, is underrated. I love watercress. It's just peppery and yummy.
Nice and peppery as well.
Yeah.
Also very healthy for you.
Yeah. It is. I like it.
I love it. I use it in everything.
Yeah.
Like all my salads. I cook it as well.
I was going to say, we made pesto and stuff with it. It's gorgeous. Got
Oh no, I've not made pesto with it.
It's great in a pesto or a pasta. Chuck it through spinach.
Yeah.
I'm getting so hungry now.
Again, use this rapeseed.
Okay.
Just to go around the dish, just a little dressing on it, and bring it down to shows.
Yeah, and we're gonna this recipe is wow. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Okay, you're going to take a photograph of that for us, aren't you?
Yes.
Like you are, aren't you?
Take a photograph of that. Send it to us, and the recipe is all up on the website leeandthesweetlife.com. The full recipe's up there with a bio that Sean's written himself, which is fabulous. I mean, the award is one, my God. And this is going to be up there. So, but can I ask you one last question, Sean? Or are you going to do it now?
Yeah, photo. He's a good egg.
I know, he's so good.
Before the leaves start to die.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, here's the last question.
Yeah, go for it.
Very personal. So I'm
so worried.
Do you have a favourite knife? What's the knife? What's the make? How long have you had it? And do knives get old? And do you get rid of them?
A few. So, luckily you told me about this question.
I did.
So I prepared.
Yeah.
So there's a mixture of knives I personally like using. More recently, I've gone for a new brand of knife. They're quite a baby in the knife industry.
Okay.
They're a Scottish-based company
Uh-huh.
called Hurricane Alpha.
Oh, I love that.
I work very closely with them. They've just launched a brand new knife, which is a serrated knife, which isn't this one. This is the go-to for every chef, which is a Victorian pastry knife.
Okay.
But having had theirs, because I had it kindly delivered to me by them when they released it, which was very nice of them. It's on par, if not better, than the Victorinox.
Really?
But then another one of my favourites, which is a bit more weighty than my Hurricane Alpha. So I have two chef knives, similar in size, but there's just a bit more weight to this one, and it's my Dick knife.
Sorry.
So,
your what knife?
Sorry, what?
yes.
We were all in a bit of shock there because I went, okay, I'll let you off. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's my 10-inch Dick knife. They come in a variety of different, like different types and styles of the knife, but they're easy to keep an edge on.
Right.
Which I find, so it's ideal for a chef. So a nice homing steel, keep the edge on it nice and good. Stops it going old. The main thing about looking after the knife is keeping it sharp. So I have someone come round sharpen my knives every 6 months. Roughly, so he puts it on a wheatstone on a wet wheel, and then puts it through on a rubber band to take any of the bits that would be slightly jaggedy off with the rubber.
Yeah.
But he can also put serration back onto my knives and things like that. So the main thing is looking after a knife. The ones everyone finds going old are these ones, the serrated, but that's mainly because we can't keep teeth on them. They end up completely flat, which is why I have a company called Hilton's Mobile Sharpening Service come round every 6 months to do them at least, if not every 3. It just depends how busy we are with the knives.
Do knives ever get so old that you throw them away, other than the serrated ones?
To be fair, I'd probably only throw one set of knives out, but I never throw them out, should we say. So what happens with them as I pass them round to other chefs in the end,
Yeah.
So when I've maybe invested in new knives, I sort of just pass them down to other people.
That's a great idea.
So say I had a full college set of knives, which were Russell's knives, which do the job. They're just branded as a catering supplier, but they supply a lot of colleges with their first set of knives for the chefs.
Yeah.
So they're pretty standard. There's not much weight to them. They're quite basic. So when I started getting my first proper knives, I sort of passed them down to others. More so now I'm higher up in the kitchen, I pass them on to the younger members of the kitchen who might not necessarily have knives or be able to afford them, really. Sad to say, because a lot of the colleges you have to get your own stuff as well. I've had a couple of lads who have started with me, who started as pot wash, and then they've worked their way up to be chefs now. So some of them went from pot wash to the bar to be into the kitchen, to be end up getting a salary in a full-time role in the kitchen.
See, that's what we'll go back in a full circle to talk about being a boss. You're a good boss. So tell me, remind me again, because I know we're coming to the end. So remind me again of when you're opening, and all the supplies you've just mentioned, and tell us quickly about tomorrow's, again, the pie thing. So just rehash.
Yeah, so we're aiming to be open from the 11th of April for the beer garden. Obviously, there'll be a lot undercover, so it doesn't matter if it rains, which is the good thing.
Oh, it's helpful.
And some heaters out there to keep people warm.
Yeah.
And then all the suppliers that we've got. So we've got the fish company being used today, and Hurst Bros.
Yep.
And then the knives we've used are Hurricane Alpha.
Yep.
And Victorian Ox and Dick knives. And then my veg supply was Hurst Bros, and we've used Wignall's yellow oil. Just keeping everything nice and local, seasonal. I think if you do that, you end up with a better product at the end. If you keep everything local and seasonal than travelling thousands of miles across seas and plains and things like that. And then we've got our cook along tomorrow from 6 o'clock live on the Griffin's Facebook. So if anyone wants to come over, even if you don't want to join in, come and watch us on that. It'd be great to have a little watch anyway, because you'll be able to probably do some bits at home afterwards if you want to, from just following it. And then we've got Mother's Day afternoon tea coming up on the 14th.
Right, so guys, book those. So I'm going to say thank you to Sean, and then I'm just going to do my little foodie book, and I'm going to come back to Sean, so bear with me here. Foodie Book Club is a book club with a difference, so it supports the emotional well-being of everybody, not just our members. You can subscribe. You don't even have to start your own book club now. We've just changed the whole thing, so you can have a book club and subscribe, but you can just subscribe to the newsletter, which comes out every week, and you get recipes. You'll get links to different things. You get our discounts because we support independent businesses through our Twitter hour, which is Foodie Book Club hour, which is on Wednesday 6 till 7. Independent businesses, we give discounts. It's about shouting about as many chefs and food industry people and products and companies as we can, like Sean, who help us. And this is all free. Nobody gets anything for this, so please support the guys. It's about independent businesses who we try and push and support and give as much media coverage to as we can. So please go to leadinthesweetlife.com and subscribe to the newsletter, and do everything else. Okay, so this is Lizzie, who's digital marketing. Again, she's doing it for the love of Foodie Book Club and everybody. So she's a PR guru in the food industry and others. She's awesome. And this is Sean Noonan, who is just like, watch out, because he's going to get a Michelin star sometime. I swear to God. And thank you so much. And his recipe is going to be up there on leadinthesweetlife.com. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it so much. You're a star.
No problems, that's all.
Bye.
Bye, guys.